Thank you so much for being here. I'm very excited to be back in my native state of Florida, although now I live up in New York. I went to college just a few hours north of here at University of South Florida. When I woke up this morning, maybe it was the plane, but I was feeling a little sick. And actually, it wasn't the plane ride. I don't have a disease. I don't have a cold. I was feeling sick this morning because our federal government decided in all of its infinite wisdom to make it illegal for me to do 4,000 things just this morning. Not just me, every one of you. There are now 4,000 things as of this morning you are not allowed to do. Every Tuesday morning, there are 4,000 things we are not allowed to do. Why is a patent attorney on a panel about social entrepreneurship? If you've ever heard anything about patents, you've probably believed that they're there to, reward people who invent things. But believe me now when I say that our government is subject to capture by corporate interests who don't want to compete. And they use the patent system to actually defeat competition. And that's what I'm here to talk to you just briefly today about. So let's just start from scratch. I'm a patent law professor at Cardozo Law School in New York City, and I also run a nonprofit organization called the Public Patent Foundation, whose mission it is to represent the public's interest in the patent system. And so let's talk about what a patent is. It's a government-granted exclusive right for a limited term. What that means is no one else has the right to do whatever is covered by the patent. Once the patent is granted, no one else may make, use, sell, or offer to sell the patented thing. Now, why in the world would a country established on protecting freedom have a government grant exclusive rights? Well, most of you have probably heard this excuse, that we need patents to incentivize innovation. How many people, just show of hands, how many people have ever heard that excuse? Okay. Well, that is not the purpose of the patent system. The purpose of the patent system is not to incentivize innovation. First of all, let's recognize what incentivizes innovation is market opportunity, right? There's a lot of orphan diseases that no one will spend a dime investing a cure for, no matter how many patents they can get, because there's no market there. Only poor people get sick with that disease. So it's market opportunity that incentivizes innovation, not patents. Patents, the purpose of patents is to advance the state of the art that we all have access to. And where am I getting that from? I don't know. Some people think this document's kind of important. To promote progress, not to make people rich, not to give exclusive rights. The patent system only justifies an existence in order to promote progress. And so if there's any aspect of the patent system which does not promote progress, it is contrary to our founders' principles. And if you need more proof, the founder of our patent system, it's not a God-given right to have a patent. It's for the benefit of society. It's an economic tool that we may need in some instances. So when you start law school, the one thing you learn is there are various bases given for law. Some is religion, right? We need law in order to enforce religious beliefs. I believe the only legitimate reason for a government regulation of freedom is to solve what's known as the collective action problem. And the collective action problem is when we'd all be better off doing something for our own self-interest that together makes society worse. So for example, speeding on the freeway. We'd all be better off if there was no rule against speeding, right? Because we could get to where we want to go as fast as possible. But as a society, we need a law against speeding, because if we allow people to go as fast as they want, we'll have more accidents, we'll have reduced fuel efficiency. And so we decide, through our elected representatives, to actually pass a law that restrains behavior in order to solve this collective action problem. But legal systems themselves are subject to collective action problems. And what I mean by that is the participants in the legal system are interested to achieve their own self-benefit. So the corporations that apply for patents want to use the patent system to maximize their profits. The politicians that administer the patent system want to succumb to the wishes of their donors. So we have to ensure as a society that we have sufficient checks and balances on the patent system to ensure that there's high quality and publicly favorable policies. And this requires participation by all parties who are affected by the patent system. And to date, no one stood up for the public. No one stands up and says, hey, maybe patents on that thing aren't good for us. And I'm going to give you some examples in a minute. So that's what I started my organization to do. We're specifically concerned about the effect that patents have on our economic system, the decrease in competition, right? What if a Chinese company or a Libyan company had a patent on the latest and greatest, you name it? That would give them the right to stop any American company from making it, any American company from selling it. And in fact, more than half of all United States patents issued today are owned by foreign corporations. More than half. We're also concerned about the effect that patents have on civil liberties, because there's no exception from patent infringement for fair use or research or criticism like we have with copyright and trademark. And so the specific things we do is we challenge patents and we advocate for more sound, publicly favorable patent policy. So I have a quote there, and I want to see if anyone can recognize who said this. Established companies have an interest in excluding future competitors. Ever heard of that guy? None of you may have been familiar at all with patents until I got on this stage 5 minutes ago. But if there's one thing I want you to take away from this conversation, it's that our patent system has been co-opted by those who can maximize its benefit to them. It benefits the special interests to the harm of the more general public interest. So what are some examples? This is a patent on the gene within our body which gives you a predisposition for breast and ovarian cancer. If you have a mutation in this gene, you have an 85 to 90% chance of getting early onset aggressive breast cancer. Our United States government thought it was prudent to give one company located in Utah a patent on this. So they are the only company in the entire United States allowed to look at your genes and tell you whether you're going to get breast cancer. In 2009, we filed a lawsuit against that company to have the patents declared invalid. We received a successful verdict from the district court. We're now on appeal. The case will be argued on April 4th. We originally sued... Thank you. Thank you very much. We originally sued the United States government for a policy of issuing patents like this. They got dismissed from the case because they aren't the patent holder, and the judge said our dispute wasn't directly with them. Oh, and by the way, we brought this case on behalf of women who couldn't afford to get the test, even though their doctors told them to get it. And Myriad would not allow our other clients, who are actually doctors who could do this test, to do it for our women for free. I wrote a letter to the company saying, I've got a woman, she can't afford your price that you're charging. I've got a doctor who's willing to do it for free. Will you please let this doctor do it for this woman for free? The company said, no, we have a patent. Isn't that outrageous? And it's your elected officials who condone this. It's the people that you vote for that do this. Oh, let me just back up. So the United States government, we sued them at first. They got dismissed from the case. The Solicitor General of the United States will be sitting at our table at oral argument at the Court of Appeals. They submitted a brief now admitting that although they've granted thousands of these patents, they're all invalid. The Patent Office abstained from that brief. The Patent Office is refusing to abide by the district court ruling. That's part of the problem with the patent system, because our Patent Office is captured by the people that it literally calls its customers, the people who buy patents from it. What about this patent? This is a patent on sending an email to your elected representative to express your opinion about a pending bill. How many people would have thought before I started talking today that you could be infringing a United States patent if you sent an email to your senator or representative advocating for or against a bill? Isn't this outrageous that our government is doing this? It's because no one's been watching them. And finally, David spoke earlier today about food. Now, David and I have another connection. He's been recently granted an Echo and Green Fellowship. I was granted one long ago when the standards were much lower, thankfully. And I'm glad guys like him are giving me a better name. I'm totally willing to free ride on it. But what do patents have to do with food? How many people have heard of genetically modified food? Monsanto, a chemical company, invented how to genetically modify seed for canola, corn, cotton, sugar beet, alfalfa they've just released. And they've got patents on that. And when one person buys their seed on purpose and grows it, and that seed blows onto the neighbor's land, even if that neighbor didn't want to have genetically modified crops, even if they wanted to use organic crops, Monsanto has pursued these people for patent infringement, taking them to court. Natural canola is now extinct. You cannot buy organic canola. It is gone, obliterated from the face of the planet due to Monsanto's patents on genetically modified seed. And they're coming after corn, cotton, soy, sugar beet, alfalfa, and everything else we eat, because they want to control our food supply, and they want to prevent people like David from offering the service that they want to offer to us so that we can have healthier food. Thank you so much for your time.